Good evening, friends. Study with Apala, Engineering Geology, Parvin Singh book. Chapter 3 से Geological Work of Natural Agencies. Sediment transported by wind. Sediment transported by wind is an important aspect of a geological work of wind and need to be discussed under the three specific head: source of sediments, methods of transport, and transporting power of wind. Source of sediments. Wind is an active agent of sediment transport in nature's materials of fine particles size such as clay, silt, and sand occurring on surface of the earth are transported in huge volume, thousands of tons a day, from one place to another in different regions of the world. A great part of the wind load as the materials carried by the wind is often called is contributed by dry incoherent. Region like sand desert and freshly plugged field. Some load is also acquired by the winds itself from its abrasive actions over the surface rock. Methods of transport. The winds transport its loads mainly is by two distinctly different processes. Suspension. The light density clay and silt particles may be lifted by the winds from the ground and carried high up to the upper layer of the wind where these move along with the winds. This is called transport in suspension because the particles once lifted are not allowed to rest on the ground again till the velocity of the wind is in those upper region in checked considerably as by the interventions of rain and snows or snow slowing downs due to distance involved. Saltation. The heavier and coarser sediments such as the sand, grains, pebbles, and gravels are lifted up periodically during high velocity times and only for short distances, and that too for smaller height above the ground. Their movement take place closer to the surface, generally up to 2 meters. They may be dropped and picked up again and again during the transport process from one place to another. The height and distance to which these sediments are transported in one cycle depends on the size and shape of the grain, the density of the material making the grain, the velocity of the wind, and also the nature of the surface of the ground over which the wind are blowing. In the typical saltations process, each particle suffers a fall after reaching some maximum height in one cycle of lift and drop. One on falling, the same particles transmits an impact to another stationary particles resting on the ground, thereby making that particles to be available for transport saltation in therefore a process of sediment transport in a series of a jump. Still, heavier materials and even boulders of odd shapes of and size may not be actually lifted up. Even this type of load may still be transported over short distances by strong wind throws, rolling, skidding, and sliding motions along the ground. These types of sediments transport by wind is also included under saltations on the slope of a heap of loose materials as in sand dunes. The displacement of particles delicately balanced at angle of repose. Wind may induce downslopes displacement. Literally is a transport though tougher for short distance bites their velocity. This displacement is sometimes especially referred as a creep. The transporting power of wind. The transporting power of wind depends on its velocity as also on the size, shape, and density of the particles. The amount of load already present in the wind at a given point of times will also determine its capacity to take up any further load from an areas that happen to lie in its course. Thus, at that point of times, the wind may be underloaded, fully loaded, or overloaded. Obviously, the carrying capacity of wind for taking up any further load from new areas in the last two cases will be very limited. In fact, overloaded winds will rather drop some of their loads whilst moving ahead at the very first opportunities becoming available to them. Thank you. Like, subscribe, and support.